Cell, the basic unit of life. If we see the planet Earth, there are so many different kinds of organisms living together. So all these organisms are coexisting, living together and interacting with each other. We see a great diversity in this animal and plant kingdom. So on this earth, we know that huge plants like giant redwood tree, giant sequoia tree, and even we see pine trees, such a huge and big trees. And at the same time, we observe very tiny phytoplankton, means small plants that live in water. So we can see the variations, differences in their size and shape. But even though they all plants and perform photosynthesis and have same basic functions. And even if you see the animals, we see huge creatures like a small microorganism or a small zooplankton, very small animalcules in the water. And we see the very big animal, that is the blue whale, living in the same water. We see huge land animals like elephants, giraffes, and different animals. So there is a huge variety of living things living on this planet. So some long ago, some 350 years ago, when the microscopes were not discovered, people only knew about the animals that are seen to eyes. So whatever the animals and plants that they were able to see with their naked eyes, so they considered only those were the living things existing on the planet. But later, by the discovery of microscopes, people came to know about the living world that is existing along with them, which is not visible to the naked eye. So there were some great scientists who made the possibility of identifying these microscopic organisms by their special instruments called microscopes. Now let us see the names of some people who made contributions to find out the microorganisms or the microbial world. So here is a list of few scientists who made their contributions in observing the microbial world with the help of microscopes. So they were the Athanasius Kircher and Jan Swammerdam, Antony van Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke. So among these four, you might have heard the names Antony van Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke, who were very famous for their observations of microorganisms with their powerful handmade microscopes. Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he observed so many living things and living cells with his microscope. Of course, he was the first human to see the living cells under a microscope. He made different powered lenses, hand-ground lenses, and he used the lenses in his microscope to observe the living cells, to observe the blood, protozoa, yeast, and bacteria, and other organisms under his microscope. Even he observed the water from different sources like pond water to study the life in them. He observed so many living and non-living objects also, which are very small and not seen to a naked eye under his powerful microscopes, and he made a recording of his observations. We learned that cells perform different functions. We also learned that every living organism is made up of a basic unit called as cell. So the cell, it performs different processes, life processes like respiration and excretion. Different kinds of life activities are performed by a cell. But how do we study the cell? How do we study the structures of a cell? How can we observe it? To study a cell or a single-celled organism, microorganism, we need some equipment. So that is nothing but a microscope. So microscope is a device which is fitted with glass lenses which will enable us to magnify the tiny things like microorganisms or cells of plants and animals, so by that we can observe the internal structure of the cells. We can study different parts of a cell with the help of microscope. So in this lesson, we're going to study the parts of a microscope, how to use a microscope, and at the same time, to observe the cells of plant or animal, we need to prepare a mount, a slide of that plant or animal cells. So in this chapter, we'll learn how to prepare a slide of a plant tissue or plant cells or animal cells, and how to make it ready to observe under the microscope. Now, let us see the discovery of cell, how it was done. So the discovery of cell, it was done by Robert Hooke in the year 1665. Robert Hooke, he observed the cork cells, that is the cork is the dead stem of a plant, oak plant, that he collected the cork and he made a thin slice of the cork and observed under his handmade microscope. So he himself prepared a microscope which he used to observe the cork cells. Cork cells. So this term was not there before his discovery. Just he has taken the specimen, a small bit of the cork, and observed. Later he named that cavities as cells. So what he observed, this is the Hooke's microscope, which he used to observe. So let us see different parts of Hooke's microscope. This is the barrel and this is the eyepiece, and this is the fine tuning or tuning screw, and this is the objective, and this is the light source. Here is the oil lamp to produce light, and here is the water flask to focus the light, and here is a glass through which the light is focused onto the specimen holder. Specimen means the thing which he is observing, that is the specimen. So the specimen, the cork is placed here, and this is the specimen holder. So this is the microscope prepared by Robert Hooke. He himself made this microscope to observe the cork cells. So what was his observation? When he observed the cork, he found some kind of structures like this. So these things were similar to honeycomb. So the honeycomb, the structures are similar to honeycomb. He observed that these are like little spaces, little rooms, and he called these small cavities as cells. In Latin, the cell means small room. So he found that these are looking like small rooms. So he named it as cell. So that was the discovery of cell done by Robert Hooke in 1665, when he observed the cork cells under his own microscope. He observed some spaces, small room-like structures in the cork, and he named these small room-like structures as cells. He compared these room-like structures or the structures of the cells with the honeycomb. They were similar to honeycomb, and named these small rooms as cell. Observation of cells under microscope. Even we, with the help of some equipment, we can observe the dead or the plant or animal cells under a microscope. So let us see how to make slides of plant and animal cells to observe under a microscope. So our aim is to observe dead cells of plant and plant cells, living plant cells and living animal cells. So we're going to observe these under a microscope. So you all need to observe these cells. We need to have a compound microscope. So we need to have a compound microscope. So this way we need a microscope by which we can see the tiny things. So along with such a compound microscope, we need some other apparatus, like we need glass slides, and we need cover slips. So cover slip is nothing but that is also a glass slide which is of a square shape and very thin. So why do we need this cover slip? When we have taken the specimen, that is the part of plant or animal that is to be observed, so that specimen can be covered with the help of a cover glass. So if the cover glass is not kept over the specimen may be blown away by the wind, or it may get dried up and blown away by the air. We cannot observe it properly or clearly. So here we need a cover glass, and we need a glass slide, and we need a wash bottle with some water to put drops of water onto the slide, and we need a dissection blade to make sections. So these are the different equipment we need to perform this experiment. So first let us see the dead cells. Let us observe the dead cells, how Robert Hooke observed the cells of oak plant. So we can take a matchstick. Remove the head of the matchstick, and remaining part soak it in water for 1 hour. We can soak the wooden part of the matchstick in water. Then we can take the thin slices of it. And this thin slice is to be kept on the slide, and put a drop of water and then cover it with cover glass. Now your slide of plant dead cells is ready, which can be observed under this compound microscope. So in the compound microscope you have screws for coarse adjustment, screw for fine adjustment, lighting adjustment, and the different power objective lens you have, and you have an eyepiece. So by adjusting all this, we can observe the arrangement of cells in the matchstick. So you can compare whether they are similar with observations of Robert Hooke or not. You will find some kind of rooms like structures when you observe under microscope. So this way we can observe the dead cells. Now let us see how to observe the plant cells under a microscope. So now let us see preparing a slide of plant cells to observe under microscope. So we have the same equipment: microscope, wash bottle, glass, and cover glass, everything. So now let us take an onion. It's a stem of a plant. Now let us cut a small bit of onion, which will be like this. Now it is thick enough. We cannot place it under microscope because it is very thick. We cannot see anything in the microscope. So whatever the specimen we take to observe under microscope, it should be very thin. So by that the light can reflect from bottom. The light can pass from bottom. From the top we can see. So we can see the internal parts of the cell clearly. If the specimen is thick enough, it becomes opaque. No light passes through it and you cannot see anything. So the care should be taken that the specimen we take should be very thin, a thin slice. But here the part you have collected is very thick enough. But this is not the specimen which we wanted to observe. there will be a thin layer below the thick leaf of the onion. So we have taken a small bit of the onion, that is that thick leaf of that onion. So if you break it like this, if this is the thick leaf of it, if you press and break it like this, you will get a thin film. In the inner side, you will get a thin film. So if you break like that, the upper parts will come like this and you will find a thin film. So if you carefully remove that thin layer and spread it on the glass, and you can put a drop of water, or if you have glycerin, if you put a drop of glycerin, so that will spread properly and it will make your vision clear. So on that you can carefully put a cover glass. See that while putting the cover glass, no air bubbles enter into this medium. It should be free from bubbles. Then if you place a cover glass, your slide of plant cells is ready. You can observe it under microscope. So basically this will have some color, the pink color. So by that you will get the view of it. If the cells are colorless, because of the light you will not be able to see. In such cases, we will add some color to the specimen collected. Sometimes some red ink may be added, one drop of red ink may be added to add color. So when the color is added, your view will be much more clear and brighter because of that addition of color. So the color, the staining also should not be too heavy. We cannot put more color, a little amount of color will do, and the color will be absorbed by different parts like cell walls of the cell. So by that you can get a vision, a clear vision of cells, a rectangular cells, which you can observe like this. So in that you can see some dark bodies at the center of the cell, nothing but the nucleus. So this way we can observe the plant cells. Now how do we observe the animal cells? If we wanted to observe animal cells, human epithelial cells, they are very thin, epithelial cells are very thin and easy for observation. So we can collect some epithelial cells from our mouth. So that is, if you have the same apparatus we can use, then how do we collect the epithelial cells? We need not cut or hurt ourselves to collect the epithelial cells. Simply we can take a clean spoon which is not having any dirt, cleanly washed spoon we can take, and with that spoon we can gently scrape inside our cheeks, very gently. The spoon, it should not be sharp, that will hurt you. So a blunt spoon, the spoon which is having blunt edges, not the sharp edges, very gently we can scrape. Then you will collect some kind of mass. Now take a slide, put a drop of water on it, and in that water just you put the spoon which you have scraped your mouth. So that mass will come in contact with the water, it will mix with the water. So now you can put a cover glass and you can observe it under microscope. Then you will be able to see the epithelial cells, human epithelial cells. Now they are not jointed like in animal cells. So in plant and onion cells, they are packed together because you have taken the complete layer. So they are packed. Here just you scrapped it. So the cells came separate. Individual, you can find some cells separated like this. So these are the animal cells. So by this activity we can observe dead cells and plant cells and animal cells. We can notice the cell wall or cell membrane and inner nucleus up to that. So if you wanted to study more in detail of every part, we need very powerful microscopes like electron microscopes to observe the complete details. Now we learned about the discovery of cell. Who discovered the cell? Robert Hooke. Now let us talk about who discovered the nucleus. The discovery of nucleus. So in the previous topics we have seen the discovery of cell, the contributions of Antony van Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke, and the observations of Robert Hooke, and he identified certain room-like structures in the cork, and he named the room-like structures as cell. So by their experiments and with their observations, they could find the cells, but they could not find the inner details of the cell. So the other observation, the discovery of nucleus, the central dark spot inside a cell. So that was done by another person called as Robert Brown. So the credit of discovery of nucleus, it goes to Robert Brown. So it was a very significant observation in the science of cell biology. The discovery of nucleus, it was a significant observation done by Robert Brown. So however, of course, other scientists, some other scientists named as Felix Fontana and other group of scientists, they observed some body inside the cells before Robert Brown, but they could not claim that that body is commonly found in all the cells and it is an integral part of cell. Robert Brown, in 18th century. So 18th century, Robert Brown observed the epidermal cells of orchid leaves. So orchid leaves, epidermal cells of orchid leaves, he observed under the microscope. There he observed the cells, they have some dark body. So he observed that this dark body is found in almost all the cells. Then he observed the other plant cells also, in which he found the same kind of dark bodies that are present in every cell. Then what he claimed, Robert Brown, he claimed that every cell has got a dark body which is an integral part of the cell. He said that it is a part of the cell, and he named that dark body as nucleus. So he was the first to claim that every cell has got a nucleus. Nucleus is an integral part of cell. So because of that, he got the credit for the discovery of nucleus inside the cell, which is a very significant discovery, significant observation, which contributed for the development of cell biology. So there was a huge gap between the discovery of cell and discovery of nucleus. Nearly 150 to 175 years of gap, because in 16th century it was happened, the discovery of cell, whereas in the 18th century by Robert Brown the nucleus was discovered. Okay, so in the previous